no veas, a Sevilla. Y al último que cuando ya salió la bien de regla.
It is Wednesday on Raid Shadow Legends, but you knew that. Now, for many of you that play on mobile, so myself partially, but, well, right now I'm on PC, this right now is showing Chimera, which is the third clan boss in the game. Now, many of you probably looked through the skill set for Chimera and realised that, yeah, this thing has 4 forms and seems to do a million things, but really there's a simple way to do anything, and in this case, it's pretty much a case of any cleanser who places block debuffs in 90% protection, some max HP damage, or whatever other strong damage dealers you have, ways to place block actives, and preferably also block buffs, and then just healers, supports, or ways to not die. That's pretty much it, because one, it's the easiest way, and the other is that I'm not convinced that much else even works, because the boss is so needlessly complicated in terms of trying to use anything that's not just this easy auto catch-all build. Now, that is going to happen until they do what they did with Hydra, which was they threw a bit of a tantrum and proceeded to nerf literally everything, and yeah. But part of the reason to even bother with Chimera in the first place is the new system in terms of upgrading champions. I don't think this is actually visible for myself. No, it isn't. In Relics. What are Relics? Relics are additional items like gear that you put on your champions, and they supply stats and other effects. Now, being, this game, and let's be honest, we know what we're into at this point. It's system within system within system, are designed to confuse you enough to make you spend money, but again, Raid Shadow Legends, yeah? So, this brings me to where this is really, really, really not good. And it's not to do with the extra stat treadmill or the acquisition method for them, etc. It's the ones that have all these effects. And I'm going to put a couple of them on the screen for you. And first thing I'm going to mention is that if, like Blessings, you can see which relic your opponent has equipped on each champion, then it's not quite as bad. Because, okay, sure, there is some guesswork aspect from minute 1, because you don't know their speed stats, you don't know their accuracy, anything like that. You just make educated guesses, like you've done with most things. But it's hard to put in a specific way, but I think the issue here is that these remove player agency on both ends. So I'm going to fixate on one of submission here over any other, just for the sake of an example. We know what some of them do. They are all dice roll chances, or at least I think they are, and there might be more that we're not aware of. But this one is an example of how PvP has another exercise in massively pointless guesswork to it, because reading this effect, even if you know your opponent has this, what are you really supposed to do? Just not use any of these effects at all? Or just hit into it and hope that it doesn't hit 1 in 4? Likewise, if you have it for your champions, if your opponent hits into it or not, then it's not really in your control whether it actually hits the 25% or not. And it's starting to get to a point where players aren't really making. I mean, I wouldn't say starting, but this is another factor to it because there's been so many already in terms of, actual stat product that champions have, polymorph, anything else. But we're piling it on, and we're piling it on more and more, and so again, we're going back to it. Sure, you have wonderful submission on every one of your champions. Now, you're just hoping that every time someone like Lady Mikage uses her A2 ult to stun your entire team, that she hits her 25s and gets stunned herself. But it's not something you can actually control past having wonderful submission on your team. And it's not something the opponent can really do anything about either, because either they're going to hit into it and get reflected, or they're not. The same for any polymorphs, which again is already a 20% chance, 25 for one to flip it back, and yeah. I know there's others, like how there's one that's on kill, 8% chance of extra turn, so okay, 92% of the time, that does nothing. 8% of the time, you probably just win because you got an extra turn out of completely nowhere. And then there's... yeah, this one is. They're creative in some ways, I'll give them that, but yeah, past layers. Yeah. So basically what's happening here is they're adding in more things which make it so that nothing you really do in the actual battle matters too much, and the game kind of plays itself in terms of RNG effects that decide the game by themselves. So it's not great, is it? Now, is this always going to happen? No. It's not going to happen more than it actually will. And obviously, people who spend for these to get the better ones are going to have the advantage, like they always do. Basically, my complaint is that you're adding another RNG aspect that means that your decisions in-game don't really matter as much as the results of dice rolls that you can't actually influence. And yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's not the most competitive game in the first place. Never really was, never will be, but anyway, I've been kind of hopping on for a while now, and yep, I can't think of anything else to say, so what should Plarium do about this? Is it Plarium, or is it whoever bought them recently? My memory's not very good. What should they do about it? Nothing. They don't need to do anything. People will still give them money regardless, and they'll still be there, so I like to say, oh, this needs to change. Why does it need to change? What consequences take place if it doesn't? What then? Anyway, yeah, I'm done, so I'll let you go, and see ya.